Hello everyone, we are back. Oh, actually today it's only me. Don't worry, I am preparing another pairing session to record. Today I want to go back into the bowling kata. I'm not gonna touch the C# version of the code, but I want to explore one of the ideas that I mentioned while recording that series. That actually ties in with one of my beliefs about katas exercises. There is no point on doing them twice exactly the same, because you don't gain any benefit from that. Yeah. What you want is to, if you're using exactly the same language, change the way that you have that you approach the kata. It's a nice way to investigate different approaches to code. The other possible option is to do it in a different language, because lots of times doing it in a different language forces you to change how you are doing the kata, the exercise. The main point that I want to visit on this recording or recordings, depending how long it takes me, hopefully not as long as the C# version, mostly because I have a better idea of what I'm doing today, is the move from looking at the future, which is what we ended with on the C# version of the bowling kata, to looking at the past. Looking at the past in this specific case, it means reduce, aggregate on C# or fall in other languages, but it's the same idea. You traverse the list without indexes, and then you accumulate some kind of value. And what you accumulate on a reduce function, well, it depends. It can be different things. So I'm gonna put the Pomodoro to start with, and let's gonna go for it immediately. I have already set up some of the basic tests. These are the same tests that we had on the C# version, the game spec test. And I have set up on the right hand side what is gonna be the code that I'm gonna be writing. There is a small difference, mostly because I didn't want to distract ourselves with the fact that when you had the method role, or in this case a method function, is something that you are gonna have to keep a mutable value, immutable collection, which on Clojure it is a bit more difficult to do. You can do it, but it is not the main. It's just you use it for dealing with special cases, like input on this case, not with what you want to do within the logic of the system most of the time. Okay, so we have this code over here. Let's gonna see if I think that's it. Okay, that's fine. So I'm running all the tests, and the tests are failing because I'm returning 0 all the time. Now, one of the things that I want to look into is that sometimes, and again, outside inversion of TDD, you think about what you want to implement and then look at implementing it. Sometimes you actually have to change what you want to implement. I want to revisit to keep with the idea of roles. Yeah, I think that was pretty nifty discovery the other day. I'm gonna keep it. Sorry, frames, not roles, frames. The actual concept of frame. So what I'm gonna have over here is that we're gonna have the roles using the reduce function. Let's gonna call the function called frames. We are gonna get the frames out of the roles, and then we are gonna calculate the score. Collect frames is gonna, the idea, just based on what I have written over here, is that collect frames is gonna return me a collection of frames. And now that we have that collection of frames, I can do the calculate the score. Call the function calculate the score. There is a couple of things that we are missing over here, but we will look into in a second. Let's gonna go a second to the REPL and just to remind myself, I've been doing a different language this last couple of weeks, and it takes me a bit of time to jump between languages. Okay, yeah, I need to pass an initial value here. And maybe calculate the score. One thing with the whole looking into the past is that you have to you need to send information to the future. How you send that information? In Clojure, a map. Maps everywhere. Okay, so we are gonna define a collect frames that is gonna return, it's gonna get an accumulator and an item, and we are gonna define a calculate score that receives an accumulator and an item. What we have over here, this is gonna be, it's gonna return a collection and this needs to return a map which is gonna have somewhere inside total score, which is what it's gonna be returning. Yeah, that's kind of the idea that I have on mine at the moment. Total score 0. Too many. Oh, define. Oop. There. I'm gonna try to speak a bit less this time around, mostly because you know how difficult it is to do the captions for my own voice. I cannot understand myself, so I'm sorry, people. But also because if I talk and I write, I cannot do both things at the same time. Either I do one or I do the other. So after I need to be doing stuff over here, thinking about what I'm doing. Oh, Neil. Collection that is collection and it returns total score all the time. What am I missing over here? I'm missing something. Don't worry, we'll get there. No worry right now that these ones are failing because they were going to be failing anyway. But now I can start looking at implementing this around these collect frames. Okay, so this Let's gonna start simpler. This should be a single frame. First row is equal to 4. Let's gonna comment out the rest for now until we go back into it. Okay. Of course, that's not score. That is correct. Ooh, to want to do it slightly different then. Interesting. We are gonna pass the color frames, and it's gonna be the reduce inside. Looks like a better disposition. Okay, let's gonna do that. Frames, calculate score. This could change later on. Okay. Rows. So this one is going to be frames. There is going to be some kind of reviews over here, which yet I do not know what it's going to be. We'll look into that in a second. So this that's fine. Let's gonna remove this. Okay, out of curiosity. Hey, I'm getting the serious. That's fine. Color frames is gonna get the actual frames. So somehow it has to return the 4 over there, yeah? Let's gonna stop for a second, just roll 4. Oops. Haha, of course, the wrong one. Is it not len? Bit more in this way, eh? Without me talking. Whatever. Okay. I don't even remember how to do parameterize test on Clojure. Maybe for the next Pomodoro I will actually check it out. Let's not put it 3. Okay, now we need to start looking into a bit better into what we are doing over here. Now we know that we have to traverse a collection. The other ones are just to the other tests, and the other code was just to give me something basic going on. Yeah. But really, I kind of know what I want to do on this case. Just because collection, enclosure, maps, and reduce. So there's gonna be something over here, which is gonna start with an empty collection, and to which we are passing rows. Yeah. So let's gonna collect frame. Awful name, by the way, because one is collect frames, the one collect frame. One of the two is not, doesn't look right. And we are back into the idea that we had before: accumulator item over here, and this one is gonna check what it has to check. It has to check a couple of things. Do we need to check? No, let's not gonna check a couple of things. Let's gonna start with the most simple stuff. The convention is a collection, so we are gonna get the last item from the collection. Yeah. That could change later on, and then based on getting the last item of the collection, we want to check. We need to know if it's a full frame or not. we want to know if it's a full frame or not, because based on being a full frame or not, we will do one thing or another with the accumulator. Yeah. So there's gonna be, if it's full frame, we do something. If it's not, we do something else. And full frame gets a frame, and what is gonna be doing? If the collection is empty, if the frame is empty, sorry, the frame should be this should return false. Yeah, so it's gonna start with returning false for now. In fact, I think this is closure. Okay, that for now. Not to worry too much about it. Okay. Very quick check over there. Oops. Me and my fat fingers. Okay, that's over there. That's gonna run this test again. I need to reload the test. Okay, both of them are running. Just to confirm, frame. We have done a couple of jumps over here, which we could easily test using, for example, all over here, which fails once you add the OR. I mentioned before, sometimes I'm not too fussy on being straight TDD. Yeah, sometimes you have knowledge, apply that knowledge. You can, things are easy to calculate them. I mean, you know it's gonna fail. As I mentioned before, of course, always happens that after you have done it, hey, Failure. Damn it. But cool. So now we need to do two different things with collect frame. Yeah. We could have gone maybe an easy way of doing this, but not excessively worry about it at the moment. Actually, this Pomodoro is gonna finish in 15 seconds. So I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna have my rest, and then we can talk. We can see where we are going from this position. Enjoy.